Good morning. I'm Bruce Broussard. I'm responsible for our data products and strategy at Insurity. We're excited to have the opportunity to talk to you about an innovation that we've introduced into our data solution Insurance Enterprise View that really has the opportunity to change the way insurance companies, all insurance companies, regardless of size, address policy, billing, claims, and reinsurance system modernization processes. Regardless of what size you are, regardless of what lines of business you're in, regardless of what analyst or publication you pick up, you know that the two biggest challenges that every insurer faces is the challenge of refreshing their policy, billing, claims, and reinsurance systems, that modernization process, as well as the data projects, creating a data foundation with all of their core data to support a platform around which they can do analytics. Traditionally, those are done as two different projects that compete for funding, they compete for priority, and they compete for resources and attention within the industry, and companies rarely have the opportunity to effectively address both at one time. Our innovation with our Insurance Enterprise View product makes that choice unnecessary. You can address both of those challenges in one product much more quickly at much less cost. So what are the biggest challenges that come with those two very different projects? Well, certainly for a transformation and modernization project, migrating all of the lines of business from an old system to your new system is always a challenge. How many times have you seen a situation where you may have 10 lines of business in a policy admin system and you migrate the first 3 at some enormous cost and time, and then you look at the rest of the 7 lines of business you have and see that the first 3 you migrated are 85 to 90% of your portfolio. But the other 7 cost just as much to migrate. The technology cost is no different. Unfortunately, the business case to get those done often doesn't hold, and you end up not actually retiring the old system, realizing the business case, and you end up with 2 systems instead of 1. Another challenge is dealing with historical data. That's always a challenge in any migration. And if you can't do both of those things, you're not going to be able to retire that legacy system. On the data and analytics side, integrating data across the enterprise is always a challenge. More than 2/3 of P&C insurance companies in the U.S. have 3 or more policy systems, not even addressing the different claims, billing, and reinsurance applications. Certainly, conforming data to a standard when you get them in from the proprietary structures that come from all your different applications is a challenge. And then making them consumable by the users once they're aggregated is a challenge. We address that through Insurance Enterprise View that is completely built upon ACORD standards. So let's look at how the transaction actually works. Typically, you'll take your old policy system, you've got your new policy system, and you'd have to write some one-time proprietary integrations to move things from the old system to the new system. That requires a lot of capability and people who speak both languages. Most organizations are going to have folks who know the old system. You can bring in people who know and can get trained on the new system, but that's like having people speaking Chinese and German at the same time. So what we've done is we've introduced Insurance Enterprise View, again, built on ACORD standards. It's a data solution that has a set of repositories that support 31 lines of business out of the box, over 11,000 unique attributes. So we can deal with the most detailed data, transaction level data across any of the policy, billing, claims, or reinsurance fronts. We can connect those to both of the systems, and we can eliminate the need to do proprietary, throwaway, one-time integration and migration efforts. The data can move from the legacy system into Insurance Enterprise View, and then Insurance Enterprise View can push it into the new policy admin system. All you need to do is configure IEV by saying, I want this line of business from the old system to move to this line of business to the new system, and I want it to start with renewals beginning on date X. Insurance Enterprise View will identify when the renewal for a policy takes place, and it will push that data and policy information into the new system. This makes getting all the lines of business, all of the historical conversion able to be done at much lower cost, much lower risk, with much less resource investment on the company. So it's a tremendous advantage. So going back to the challenges we talked about earlier, the combination of Insurance Enterprise View assets and ACORD XML, for the integrations. All of our data structures are built upon the ACORD information model, so it's a non-proprietary industry standard set that makes the data consumable on the end. It makes it easy to get it in and easy to get it out. In our experience, we've seen that traditional policy line of business mapping and integration takes generally 9 to 12 months in general. Certainly you can run a number of those in parallel, but that's roughly what it takes in a standard integration. If you introduce Insurance Enterprise View and ACORD, you can change those schedule expectations. We're now doing that regularly in 3 to 6 months. Quick case study. We took a Tier 3 commercial insurer. We were able to move 4 lines of business, migrated completely in 1 year. It not only reduced the time, effort, and cost associated with it, but it also freed up resources for that company so that they didn't have to sacrifice every other business priority they had to get it done. They were able to retire their legacy policy system, achieving the cost savings of their business case. And by moving the data through Insurance Enterprise View, it established an analytics platform that's feeding their underwriting and analytic and actuarial as well as other business units for faster and better decision making. So our innovation in Insurance Enterprise View has allowed people to do both modernization and data products simultaneously, all relying upon the ACORD standards. So I appreciate your time, and Insurity would certainly appreciate your vote today. We have about 20 seconds if you have any questions.
One quick question from any of the judges?
Sure. Does this work with any other policy admin system?
It actually does, and we're working with one of the 4 largest P&C insurers currently who are using Insurance Enterprise View to move to one of our competitors' products. We've actually done this in production and are working with a number of other tiers.
Great. Fantastic, Bruce. Thank you.
Thank you.